Hello, it is I, your boy Gomi, and we are back. Forgive me if you hear that beeping, it is me air frying my lunch for tomorrow. But yes, I gotta say, it's a little bit delayed because of the Horse Life's been but it's just sad that we're going from UFC Austin to UFC Vegas 83. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And I gotta say, man, I don't know if I consider this that good a card. I honestly think this is a pretty disappointing card overall. There's some matchups where like, there's some fun matchups and solid matchups. But oh boy, I'm gonna go on a roasting session with some of these. But in the meantime, let's look at this fight card. Oh man. Oh, that's not the fight card. This is the fight card. So the first fight we're going to be looking at is Ryan Amanda versus Talicia Alansar. I believe, yes, Ryan Amanda dos Santos. She goes by Amanda dos Santos. But yep, this fight is pretty much a little bit of a wash, to be honest with you. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm going to be going with Santos by decision. Alansar is going to be a debutante, but a fresher debutante. Amanda has a little bit of experience under her belt. She's had some decent fights in Invicta, but nothing really of special note. Meanwhile, Talicia got signed on to the UFC via a draw in the Contender Series. I am not a fan of Alansar's grappling. Amanda's grappling's decent, but ultimately this is going to be a decision, and over 2.5 is going to be your best friend. Tatsuro Taira, this is pretty solid. Pretty sad to see him this low in the card, but man, I gotta say, Tatsuro Taira, he's a beast. He's absolutely a monstrosity. It's just that I gotta say, his last fight out, I was listing him as just going to massacre. I believe it was it's Edgar Chairez. I thought he was gonna massacre him, and it went to decision. It was a tougher fight for him, which is surprisingly enough. He didn't get the submission, gassed himself out, but still managed to win. Meanwhile, Carlos Hernandez, it's a grappler versus grappler matchup, and Carlos Hernandez is just an inferior grappler to Tatsuro Taira. I definitely think Tatsuro Taira is going to be able to take this, and I think this is going to be an easier win for him. I'm going to give him the finish. I'm going to give him the submission because Carlos Hernandez is susceptible to the submission. He got submitted his last fight out against Alan Nascimento. Tatsuro Taira is a better grappler than Nascimento, so I fully concede Tatsuro Taira getting the submission against Carlos Hernandez. No, stop. Luana Santos going up. Okay. Luana Santos going up against Stephanie Egger. I'm going to be taking the dog. I don't got a ton to say about this, but same thing with Luana Santos. I don't think you're grappling. Come on, man. UFC's website is it's not working with me. I don't think your grappling is as amazing as a lot of people think it to be or make it out to be. I don't think Luana Santos is all that good. Meanwhile, Stephanie Egger, she's losing, yes, but she's losing to decent opposition in the women's flyweight division. Bantamweight, forgive me. Jesus Christ. Aliskiva, it's not a bad loss, and Aliskiva did come in heavy that fight. Aline Perez, she was able to beat her. Maya Buenaselva is fighting for a title. Stephanie Egger, I think, is decent compared to Luana Santos. Give me Stephanie Egger by decision. Next, Steve Garcia versus Melquiza Costa. I already spoke about this fight last week. It was moved this week. It is now a heavier weight class. I swore they were bantamweights. Were they not bantamweights? But it looks like they're hopping up to lightweight. Oof. Yeah, it's supposed to be 140-pound catch weight. Now it's just lightweights. They're supposed to be featherweight catch weight. Jesus Christ. At the heavier weight class, I'm going to lean towards Steve Garcia now. I'm going to swap and go with Steve Garcia. I think he's just going to be a little bit tougher. I think he's not going to be as depleted, and I think he's going to be harder to finish. Give me a decision win for Steve Garcia. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is pathetic. this is my problem with the UFC now is it's just not the highest level of competition anymore. They sign on anyone from the Contender Series. They don't care who it is that they're signing. They just thrust you in here and says, all right, here you go. Here's a contract. Go have fun. Shannon Ross fought on the Contender Series and he lost. He lost on the Contender Series. He lost to Vinicius Salvador. He was knocked out in the second round. They gave him a contract. I know they gave him a contract because they gave him 2 fights after it and now a third. Why did you sign him? Better yet, look at this. Look how much fight time Shannon Ross has in the UFC. That is 1 minute and 16 seconds. 76 seconds he has in fight in the octagon in UFC. And he's been knocked out twice. How have you been knocked out twice in slightly over a minute and you're on your third fight? Hyung-Sung Park, he's more of a grappler, so this fight will probably go longer for Shannon Ross. This will probably be his longest fight in his UFC career. Congrats. But he's gonna lose. Hyung-Sung Park is not even that much better. He's decent, but he's still like fresh and new. He's coming off road to UFC. But why is Shannon Ross here? In fact, you know what's even funnier? His fight against Cleaton Rodriguez, UFC debut. I'm gonna play it. I can't play it. I'm gonna 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 play part of it. Oh, okay. I'm not sponsored by Reese's, but it's just he was knocked out with a butt strike. He was knocked out. Cleaton Rodriguez came in heavy. He came into this fight and he just didn't care. Okay, I guess we gotta let the ad play out. Yeah, Arman Saryukin knocked out Beneil Dariush. That's pretty good. Also, Bobby Green was let to die. They straight up wanted Bobby Green dead. Jalen Turner was almost charged for murder. Here we go. Look at this. This is what the UFC is. Don't mind target advertising. This is what the UFC is signing. This is what they're signing. Wait for it. But bounce! And he was knocked out shortly after. What is this, man? Get this shit out of my face. Get out of my face. Hyung-Sung Park by knockout. Submission round 1. Song Kenan versus Kevin Jousset. Also, this fight sucks. Song Kenan, he's a pretty solid striker. He is coming off that really good knockdown over Ian Gary, but a lot of people really hold that to Ian Gary. That's the only shot that Song got off in that fight. He was knocked out very shortly after that. Actually, maybe I think it was the next round. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's what he's writing home about. Meanwhile, Kevin Jousset is writing home a awful fight against Kiefer Crosby. He's one of Izzy's teammates, Kevin Jousset, and he's very boring. I'm sorry. The thing is, he's just super low. That's not right. That's not right at all. He's very low output, but not that low. I just don't think Kevin Jousset is going to be able to handle Song Kenan. I think Song Kenan is going to be able to land some better shots. Kevin Jousset is a little bit more pretty of a kickboxer, but I just think Kenan's going to wear on him and take him out. I think that's going to be an easy round 2 knockout for Kenan, but that's a disgusting fight. Jung Young Park versus Andre Muniz. It's another disgusting fight, to be perfectly honest with you guys. The Iron Turtle, I think, is too tough for Andre Muniz. Andre Muniz is a guy who's an elite level grappler. He is world-class grappling, and he just out of nowhere fell in love with his hands. It's not even like he fell in love with his hands like Justin Gaethje, because he was like knocking people out left and right. He wasn't really doing much of note, honestly. Like, he got a decision against Uriah Hall, and since then I didn't really see him go for submissions as much anymore. He's decided to stand and trade with Brendan Allen. That was bad. Was then submitted. He decided to stand and trade with Paul Craig. Paul Craig knocked you out. Paul Craig don't knock people out. If you get knocked out by Paul Craig, guess what, homie? Jung Young Park is gonna knock you out, because Jung Young Park has very solid grappling. That's the thing. He had very solid grappling, and he's got power. Andre Muniz is going down. I think it's going to be a round 2 knockout for Jung Young Park. Round 3 maybe, because Jung Young Park has such great cardio that he can just keep going and withering Andre Muniz down. But Awful fight. This was a good fight before, but now it's a super short notice replacement. Tim Elliott is stepping in place of Nascimento to fight against Sumadarji, who does not have a last name. I like this fight a lot, actually. I think I like it better. I like Tim Elliott a good bit, but I think I'm going to go with Sumadarji just due to the short notice nature. But the thing is, Sumadarji does struggle with grapplers, but if he's worked on his grappling, he will absolutely be able to take out Tim Elliott. And Tim Elliott gives up on submissions really fast, and Sumadarji does not tap. Ask Matt Schnell, he does not tap. Sumadarji may have lost that fight, but he was beating the living breaks out of Matt Schnell with just beautiful Muay Thai clinch work, and those elbows were just hellacious. I'm going to be leaning towards Sumadarji in this one, but that's a close fight. Nasrat Haqparast versus Jamie Mullarkey. Jamie Mullarkey is a fraud. I have no way of saying it. Jamie Mullarkey is a guy, came in, we all thought, oh wow, this guy's pretty solid. I think he's actually pretty good. And what is he done for us? Again, a good win against Prado. Yeah, you lost to Turner. Turner beat the crap out of you. That was 276, I believe. I have a shirt from that. Johnson, he barely beat Coin Flip Johnson. That's awful at this point in Johnson's career. He lost to Naimov, got knocked out, and he barely beat Makdessi. It's just not looking good for Jamie Mullarkey. I don't think he's that good. Nasrat, at this point, I think he's overhyped. He was like a kind of diamond in a rough, a low-key kind of guy. But Nasrat also, he's pretty tough, pretty good cardio, decent anti-wrestling. Not the best, to be honest with you. It's decent, but still better than Jamie Mullarkey's. And I think he has more power than Mullarkey. I just think Nasrat is not the best, but better than Mullarkey and everywhere. I think Mullarkey is just a bunch of Mullarkey. Get him out of my face. So give me Nasrat Haqparast. I normally lean toward decision because Haqparast isn't much of a finisher, but I can absolutely see him knocking out Mullarkey. I just got a feeling. I think his boxing will be a little bit too crisp, and then come in the later rounds, I could see him knocking him out. I just overall don't want to see this fight. Finally, some good fights. In fact, not this fight. What fight I made a graphic for? The co-main event of the evening. Anthony Smith will be taking on Khalil Roundtree. Short notice for both guys. 2 weeks notice. Khalil Roundtree is supposed to fight last Saturday. His opponent pulled out. Now Anthony Smith is subbing in. I like this fight. And I really, really hope for some Khalil Roundtree violence. That was the main thing I was excited for last week. Didn't get it. But Khalil Roundtree is such a violent guy. But let's get into the tail of the tape. It's going to be a light heavyweight matchup. Anthony Smith is going to be 35 years of age, 37 wins, 18 losses, 19 knockouts, 14 submissions. Anthony Smith just lives to fight, but that may be his detriment in this fight. He is orthodox stance, 6'4" in terms of height. I believe I skipped that. He has a 76-inch reach disadvantage, a 0.52 takedown average, a 51.53% significant strike accuracy, plus 190 dog. Significant wins over... Flipped their significant wins. I flipped that. That's my flubby. Anthony Smith has significant wins over Ryan Spann, Jimmy Crute, Devin Clark, and Alexander Gustafsson. Khalil Roundtree is 33 years of age, 13 wins, 5 losses, 9 knockouts, not a damn submission. 6'4" in terms of height, southpaw stance, a 76.5-inch reach advantage, not a damn takedown to his name, 42.52% significant strike accuracy, minus 235 favorite, with significant wins over Dustin Jacoby, Modestas Bukauskas, Eric Anders, and Paul Craig. Paul Craig, man, he's on so many lists, dude. It's weird. And he's got wins to some of these weirdest wins. I just don't get it. So I'm not high on Anthony Smith. I think Lionheart is just withered his Lionheart. I will always respect him for not taking the W against John Jones when John Jones illegally need him. But since then, he's gotten beat up. Anthony Smith, he's a worn tire. He's like my tires. They're extremely worn and they're going to break down on me at any point. Anthony Smith, in almost all of his fights, he breaks down. Unless you're Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann, against Ryan Spann, he broke down, to be honest with you. But Walker, pathetic display from both guys. Walker beat the piss out of Smith and had Smith curled up in a ball, and he decided, I want to go the 3 rounds, and lost me my money. That was a 9-leg parlay. I just need either guy to get a finish, by the way. I'm not going to talk about that. He lost to Ankalaev. He just absolutely withered. Ankalaev just kept kicking his leg. He's withered. Again, he beat up poor Spann. Crute broke his leg. It's just like, he's just not as good as he used to be. He's withered and weathered. And he has inconsistent performances, and he just gives up a lot. But Khalil Roundtree is inconsistent. He's such a violent guy, and when you watch him work, it's so good. I'm gonna be honest with you, the start, how he had against Dawkins wasn't the best. He still ended up flatline KOing him, and maybe we could attribute to a rather decent layoff. But at the end, he beat the crap out of Dawkins. But as I say, I don't take that. I don't even have that on significant wins, because it's not a freaking significant win. It's one of the Dawkins brothers. He did beat Dustin Jacoby, and he didn't look the best that fight. He really didn't. After watching what he did to Carl Robertson, I was like, he's gonna mollywop Dustin Jacoby. You could argue he lost. It was too close. He just destroyed Bukauskas, broke his leg or knee. Bukauskas was out for 1.5 years, I believe, after that. Bukauskas was, he was out for, oh my god, he was out for almost 2 years. That's how badly he messed him up. And he lost to guys like Prochnio and Kutalaba. Like, he's so inconsistent. When he's on, he's on. I think he struggles with mental issues, and that's the thing that I think makes him, like, kind of falter, to be honest with you. Because, like, you look at some of these again, like, destroyed. Destroyed. I don't know. It kind of scares me, to be honest with you. But I think we should see prime Khalil Roundtree. And one thing that Khalil Roundtree is always good at and always consistent at is his leg kicks. He brutalized Eric Ander with just pure Muay Thai leg kicks off the front leg, and he could definitely land those on Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith definitely has a grappling advantage. I could see him take it down to the ground and just destroying Roundtree like that. But if Roundtree could just be smart, defend his entries, and land really good knees up the middle on Smith's entries, he can just take him out. Smith will take the shots early on, and Smith has really good start of fight cardio, but if he can just wither him down, I could see a round 2 finish for Roundtree. Just keep kicking his legs. He's gonna go down. He's got leg problems. He does. But man, I just want to see some Roundtree violence. So give me Roundtree. I think the line should be closer, but oh well. And for the main event of the evening, Song Yadong, I love him just for the name, I'm sorry. Song Yadong is going to be taking on Chris Gutierrez. Holy shizer, boys. Why is he minus 400? Song Yadong's good. Song Yadong's gonna win, I believe so. But Jesus Christ, you just don't want me to get money now, do you? So, till tape. Bantamweight fight. It's going to be Song Yadong versus Chris Gutierrez. Song Yadong is going to be 26 years of age, 20 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw, or no contest. 1 draw. He's going to be 9 knockouts, 3 submissions, 5'8" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 67-inch reach, and 67-inch reach wash. He has 0.53 takedown average, a 48.49% significant strike accuracy, minus 400 favorite. Significant wins over Ricky Simon, Marlon Moraes, Julio Arce, and Chito Vera. Was not a robbery. Chris Gutierrez is going to be 32 years of age, 20 wins, 5 losses, and 2 draws. Wow. Also, forgive me, it's 19. What the heck? 19 wins, 4 losses, 2 draws. I don't know. I got 1 up for each one. That's weird. He has 9 knockouts, 1 submission. He has 5'9" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 67-inch reach, a 0.34 takedown average, a 59.01% significant strike accuracy, plus 300 underdog, with significant wins over Antolahan, and Frankie Edgar. I I already said I think Song Yadong wins. I don't like this as much for the main event. I think the Roundtree versus Smith was the better main event, to be honest with you. But Song Yadong, I think he's really good. I think he's on the come up. A lot of people say stop sleeping on Song, but nobody's sleeping on him at this point. He's solid power puncher, and he's young. He's my age. He's younger than me. He's younger than me, and he has 29 fights, dude. That he just has so much experience at such a young age. By the time he gets 32, he's gonna either be withered and worn from nothing but battles, or he's gonna be a world beater. And he doesn't take a lot of damage. Even so, the last fight I remember him losing to Corey Sandhagen, he didn't take damage. He had a bad cut that had to get the fight to end. Otherwise, beat the crap out of Ricky Simon. By the way, I'd like to mention I had a round 4 knockout for Song Yadong. I picked that. I put money on it. It's round 5. Ooh, I'm so mad. But I really like Song Yadong. I like his counter striking. I love his power, and I think he just needs to work a little bit on his grappling. But no problem, because Chris Gutierrez is not a grappler. He's one of those pretty kickboxers that I always talk about, and unless you're a pretty kickboxer, but you're like an elite pretty kickboxer, like Israel Adesanya, Alex Pereira, Sean O'Malley, or you're a pretty kickboxer who eventually learned other arts and like grappling and grappling defense, like a Leon Edwards, I don't think you're gonna get far against more well-rounded opponents. And also, it's Song Yadong, and I put Son. Jesus Christ, I made this last night at like 2 a.m. This is late for me. I'm sorry. But I definitely am going to give this to Yadong. I think Yadong is just the more well-rounded fighter. I think he'll be able to keep on the feet if Gutierrez even tries a takedown. And I just think he hits hard. Chris Gutierrez's hardest shot is his flying knee, which he was able to retire Frankie Edgar with. But beyond that, Yadong's got the power in his hands. I'm going to give it a round 3 knockout. I think Gutierrez will be very calm. He'll be able to fight on the edge of a lot of Dong's punches. But once Yadong finds his range, he's going to find it hard. He's going to really give him his Dong. But yes, give me a Song Yadong, late finish. And that will be the card. It is probably one of the worst fight nights of the year. Not the worst. There are some worse ones. But Jesus Christ. Especially coming off the best fight night of the year. But what I really hope is I'm just bashing it, trash talking it. Fight comes out, it's just heaters. It's just banger after banger after banger. Please let that be the case. And once again, let me know what you think in the comment section below. This has been your boy Gomi. Bye-bye.